Hello, and welcome to my learning summary for Dr. Strangelove's Communication 1160 class, Introduction to Media Studies. Just to start, there is a lot of material that I learned about in this class. So one of the big things that I learned about was how I use my media on a day-to-day basis. Through completing my weekly research report, as well as the big final assignment that was due just this past weekend, there were a couple patterns that I had actually learned about in regards to myself and how I interact with media on a day-to-day basis. So I realized, I do have a very, very bad addiction to media. The amount of time I spend on my cell phone is very much a big issue for me. But I also realized some of the trends that I have while I'm on my phone. So, for example, I realized that in terms of like social media applications, I tend to use Instagram and Twitter a lot. And so I spend a lot of the time on my phone looking at those two applications, even though the content that I'm looking at is actually the same thing. And I just watch the same videos over and over and over again. Another thing that I realized was in terms of media, a lot of the media that I consume is in relation to the University of Ottawa. As I mentioned in my previous report, this is most likely due because one, I am a student, but two, I also do work for the University of Ottawa. So a lot of the media that I consume is either related to what I'm taking as a student or some of the stuff that might have implications on my workplace. Another thing that I did learn about was the climate apocalypse that we are currently in the middle of. So, we have the Australian wildfires that are burning, that were burning some time ago. We have climate change that is progressing at a rapid rate. We have deforestation. We have multiple species going on to the extinction list day after day after day. And unless something changes, it really will be the end of the world. Another thing I did learn during this class was media power and just how powerful a single entity or a company can be depending on how much media power that they have. One of the things that I had brought up in my research report and it stuck with me was the example that I had mentioned with the Sinclair Broadcast Group. So it's a company out in the United States where they own a bunch of news stations. A lot of them are actually Fox news stations. And there's a video that came out where it was this multiple news agencies or news channels, and they're all reading off the same script regards to fake news and social media and so on. So it really brought home the idea that if you have somebody who has a lot of media power, the damage that they can do or the good that they can do is very much dependent on them. But the amount of power that they have is very, very scary. But no, at the end of the day, this was a very, very enjoyable class for me. I had a wonderful time, and I did learn a lot in regards to media power, climate apocalypse, echo chambers, just how big the media world is. But yeah, no, it was a wonderful time, and I'd like to thank Dr. Strangelove for a wonderful time. This is probably one of the best classes that I've ever taken. So that's it for my video learning summary, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.